Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is Paddock Live. I'm joined by Alex Bagley.
Hi, Joe.
In front of the screen.
Not been here before.
You're filling a J-shaped hole.
I know, he's not here, is he?
No, he's ill. He's still ill. He was ill this afternoon and he's continued to be ill because he's a rancid little boy and he can't stop laying down. But we've got a more than suitable replacement in Alex Bagley. How are you doing?
Good.
Is there enough
good.
night ticks on that jumper? That's the question I've got for you.
There's not. That'll be in the comments.
I can see 4 and I can't even see the back of the thing. Let's have a look.
There's a few more on the back.
There's 2 more on the back.
Yes.
It's nice actually because I've got no night ticks on my top, so it kind of makes
out.
We're going to be talking about Harry Maguire's potential replacement. Also, Ronaldo maybe moving in January. Donny van der Beek moving in January. Skriniar is obviously been mooted, and we've got Kim Min-Jae as well. Kim Min-Jae as well as potential options, both from Serie A. We'll get into both of those as we go along. But get in the comments. Let us know your thoughts on these players. Let us know your thoughts on anything that's going on. The Champions League games tonight. Annoyingly, there was no fun English teams losing.
No.
They both just won. Chelsea
won.
City won quite comfortably in the end.
Haaland scored again.
I'm sick of him now.
I'm well.
He didn't even get a hat trick.
So bored of it.
Let's talk about Ronaldo. So apparently, Ronaldo. Ten Hag dropping Ronaldo has nothing to do with the January transfer window. He says, I can't see the relation. That is not coming on when we're 4-0, 5-1, 6-1 down. I don't bring him on out of respect. It's nothing to do with what's happening for the future or January or next year. You see there, dropping Ronaldo has nothing to do with January window. It can't help but have something to do with it. Because if you're not playing someone, they're more likely to leave in any given transfer window.
But I think that's the other way around. I think it's not he's asked to leave, so I'm not playing him. I think it's more the fact that he's come into the squad. Erik ten Hag obviously doesn't fancy him as his starting centre forward. He's played the odd game, the Europa League games, but I just don't think he fits. And I think that he was right not to bring him on because I think that I think he's phrasing it wrong with out of respect. I think that you bringing on Ronaldo to go and get a goal, whilst we're 5-1 down doesn't make any sense to me. No. It's not like he's going to get the winner or the equaliser. I can kind of get that. I think that, yes, he's obviously going to be looking at other clubs. If he's not playing at 37, he needs to be playing games to achieve what Cristiano Ronaldo wants to achieve in the next few years.
I think he wants 1,000 goals, doesn't he?
He wants to score a lot of goals.
Yeah.
And I think that, seeing someone like Haaland as well won't be helping him because his head will be spinning and going, right, if he scores that many this season, he'll be doing the numbers and going, I need to get to a certain point. He's 799, I think, at the minute.
Something like that.
He's not going to get another 200, but he could get another 50 maybe over the next 3 seasons.
Well, I think hasn't he got over 800 with internationals as well?
Yeah, but club goals he's got 799.
Yeah, I think. So whatever his targets are, they're pretty fantastic, aren't they? But it makes sense for him. It makes sense for us. I don't think he's going to all of a sudden become this sort of pressing machine that Ten Hag is trying to turn the likes of Rashford and Sancho into. I think they've got a chance of learning that style and over the next 2 or 3 years, which is what it'll probably take to turn this team into a successful one, if it's ever going to happen. But Ronaldo hasn't got the luxury of that time, and if he's not playing now, the odds of him playing in any given season decrease by the day almost, don't they?
Yeah,
so
of course.
It just makes sense, and I think, like I said, we did a Twitter Spaces a minute ago, and it was very difficult to find someone. And just speaking to mates and people we know that are United fans, so few people are saying, I can't believe he's not playing, he's too good to be on the bench. Some people are saying, it's not fair on his legacy or this, that and the other to be on the bench. But from a performance perspective, there's very few people saying he should be playing, and I think that tells its own story.
And I don't see this thing, and I've said this all the way through when we've had with this conversation about Donny van der Beek, which we'll get onto in a minute.
Yeah.
I just don't see a manager having a player in his squad that is light years ahead of somebody else in the starting 11.
Yeah.
And unless something's gone on, because I don't think there's anything gone on personally with Ronaldo and Ten Hag or anything like that, where he wouldn't just play him if he was the answer that was going to score us loads of goals, if he was the answer that was going to help us beat City or win more games. I don't see why he wouldn't play him. And I think that there's questions about Casemiro and McTominay. The reason he's not playing is that McTominay's been playing well. And Casemiro, obviously in training, isn't light years ahead of Scott McTominay and isn't offering a lot more. And that's probably the same with Ronaldo. He's not offering more than Marcus Rashford in terms of running. And maybe it's not pressing, but maybe it's that running behind and holding the ball up or whatever it is. He's not offering more in training. So we can't play him. And I think that's the case. I don't think Ten Hag's going, well, he would score 40 goals a season for us right now, but I'm deciding I'm going to play Marcus Rashford.
He obviously just doesn't think he's got it in him, does he? 10 Big Hikes says, legacy has to be irrelevant when it comes to Man United. We need to focus on winning. I think for too long we've stuck with players that, I mean, none of them have had the career at Man United that Ronaldo has, but who are sort of past their best or should maybe be moved on. I think Ten Hag seems to be more of the mind of if they're not playing and they're not going to play, then they shouldn't be here. And I think, you know, Ronaldo's too, like you said, too focused on things, still got goals and targets in football for him to be sitting on United's bench while we win nothing.
I'd love to see him, you know, if, you know, it's going to be the Cups, it's going to be the FA Cup, things like that we're going to be able to maybe win this season. I'd love to see Ronaldo lift a trophy in a United shirt again, even if it is a Europa League.
I know.
But
he didn't get to win the Thailand Century Cup.
He didn't. But I'd like to see that. But if it doesn't happen, we can't be too sentimental. We have to not be too sentimental about it. For as much as I've said, I mean, last season was a terrible season, but Ronaldo did give us some moments last season. You know,
yeah, the hat-trick against Tottenham.
The hat-trick against Tottenham was ridiculous, and that time there was time in Old Trafford where it was ridiculous. But at the same time,
Newcastle was good.
Newcastle was good, but it just wasn't. Still wasn't good enough, and that's where we've kind of got to step away and go. Let's move on a little bit from that.
Yeah, and also, and I'm not saying this to use it against Ronaldo, but last season, United were awful, and it's not his fault. And, you know, it's not his fault that we scored less with him than we did the season before. But it's not as though everything got better last season and all of a sudden we've got a new manager in who's going, we're cutting your top goal scorer and the reason you won the, you know, the Champions League or something. That didn't happen. Last season was a fucking disaster, wasn't it?
It's not like Haaland coming in now. No. He's scoring more goals and City are scoring more goals. You know, that's the thing. It's Ronaldo came in, scored more goals.
And we
got worse, so you know, it's not the same.
Which I'm not blaming on him, but it's not as though you can. There's not much of a leg to stand on where you're like, look how good we were last season. Why aren't you playing me? Let's move on to Donny van de Beek.
Yay.
Because again, when you talk about players who people are no longer shouting for to play, he was for most of the last 2 years, 18 months of the last 2 years, was like play Donny and everything will be okay. That's gone now, hasn't it? There's no Donny van de Beek FC anymore.
It's stressed me out.
And that's proven by the fact that Leicester want to buy him for a reported £13 million.
13 million. It stressed me out because the thing that people beat Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on so much was you've got Donny van de Beek. He's obviously better than McTominay and Fred. Surely just play him. And now new managers come in, the one that made him as good as he was. Yeah. He got him the big move to Manchester United and potentially to Real Madrid on the Ballon d'Or shortlist by playing him in that team. Yeah. And he's not playing him.
This is the fourth Man United manager who hasn't played Donny van de Beek.
This whole thing of, so many people said, I know Bruno scores all these goals, but you don't see what Donny would do in this team in terms of link-up. Well, but he's not playing him now. The manager that does this, and this isn't a dig at Donny van de Beek. It's just that maybe he's just not better than Bruno, which he's not.
And also the problem that I have with Donny is you end up criticising him when really you want to criticise the sort of blind loyalty to him that fans who have never seen him really play for United, because he's never really played for United, have. Like there's this sort of fictionalised fantasy version of this man who would be winning us Champions League if only he got the chance. That's obviously just not the case, is it? And I'm sure he can go somewhere else and have a good career. And I think maybe he needs to leave England even, just in terms of if I was a footballer that had gone to another country and had such a disastrous spell, especially when he's had offers from Spain in the past. Obviously, I don't think the Real Madrid offer's still standing, but like if he could go to a different country, reinvent himself, because it's that kind of level, isn't it, for him, where it's such a difficult, failed move that you almost want to go, right, fuck this, I'm going to do a sort of Renato Sanchez, go to France, win the league, and then, you know, reinvent yourself as this player. Now, you look at him, he's at PSG, he had an awful time, didn't he, when he went to Bayern Munich and then Swansea. Now you see Renato Sanchez as sort of a really up-and-coming top midfielder again. Donny van de Beek almost has to have that kind of reinvention, but you know, I hope it can work out, because I've got nothing against him whatsoever.
No.
I was so keen on him when he came in, but just from watching him play, it was never really there, was it? He wasn't really the player we wanted him to be.
No, and the question was all the time, does he fit in a three with, it was Paul Pogba at the time and Bruno? How do you play these players together? Where did he fit? Because Paul Pogba seemed like a better player and more physical, and even though he wasn't, you know, maybe reached the heights, he was a better player. Bruno Fernandes was doing all these goals, assists, ridiculous numbers, and it was, will he play in the six? Will he do this? You've then had that same question with Eriksen this summer, where you go, well, does Eriksen play in this midfield? Does he play alongside Bruno? Because I don't think that would work. But he's managed to force his way into that. And he's managed to play every week by maybe playing a slightly deeper position than most people were expecting, more than I was expecting. But he's got himself into the team, which Donny van der Beek hasn't been able to do.
No.
And there is a point where you have to force your way into the team. Same with Ronaldo. You have to force past that person ahead of you. Same with Casemiro coming in. You have to improve against, be better than them every single day. And look, I don't think Donny van der Beek's got it for Manchester United. And to be a Manchester United player, even though not at this right time, how big we are, you've got to be something special to hold all the personality you'll need to be a Manchester United player, even when we're playing badly. And I just don't think Donny van der Beek's got it.
It doesn't seem like it's quite there, does it? Jockey Trot, welcome to the Academy. 12 months as a member. Thank you very much, mate. Before we move on, let's have a little listen to Adam McCullough, who's been chatting on the Last Fan Standing podcast about the game at the weekend, about some of the issues he had with not playing Casemiro. Let's just... It still pains me to hear it, but let's listen to Adam McCullough.
It was dreadful. We got it wrong in the first half, massively wrong. I think Rafael Varane going off injured didn't help, although when he was on the pitch it wasn't pretty either. I think the selection of not picking Casemiro left us too open. Bruno and Eriksen in there is too open to play against Manchester City, I think. Previous times when we've played well against them, we've gone with McTominay and Fred in front of the defence. So we just kind of feel like maybe Casemiro starting, maybe a Fred starting, getting extra body in helps. I think having, like you saw Martial make a huge difference to us. And that's what having a number 9 will do. So hopefully he can stay fit now because he'll bring a different dynamic to us. But yeah, it was dreadful. But I'm not panicking because look, we're going to go up and down under this manager this season. But I do still think there's a potential we get top 4 because, you know, Liverpool aren't playing well, Chelsea aren't playing well. You know, so I think anything can happen.
That was Adam McCullough there with Last Fan Standing, talking about the Derby defeat. It didn't feel at the time that playing Scott McTominay and Eriksen, which have been like the sort of key partnership in there for those last 4 games, it didn't really seem like that was a mistake, did it? Or were you sort of crying out for Casemiro from the start?
I think he was right to maybe stick with the team that's won him 5 of the last 6, 5 games on the spin. That team's won. It's right to maybe stick with that, but I think City are a different ask, and I think that there's a reason why, look, Ollie had some success, Adam mentioned it there with Fred and McTominay, is that, you know, De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva, or it was De Bruyne and David Silva, or whoever in those further positions, just got him behind us so easily. And McTominay on his own a little bit, it felt like, a lot of the time. Eriksen got dragged over and things like that. Just looked a bit lost, and maybe you'd have started Casemiro, and maybe that would have done it.
I don't know.
But I don't know, you know, to knock that rhythm, because the thing is, you bring Casemiro in, who do you drop? Eriksen seemed, we did a video on the channel talking about how key he would be in getting him behind and playing those passes to Rashford to try and get the goal. Or you take Bruno out, who is the captain and potentially our best player, you know, you've got to take one of those out to fit. Or do you take out a winger or whatever?
Yeah, it was never easy, was it?
No, it wasn't easy.
And especially because we've never seen Casemiro and McTominay play together in a Premier League game, or not from the start. It would be a new partnership to bring in one of the biggest games of the season. I think he just went with what he thought was right, which I can't really blame him for.
Ollie always had that, I'm planning for a game 6 weeks down the line.
Yeah. And
he had a plan always. I don't think Ten Hag's going to do that. I think he's just going to play his way. And I think there's a point where we need to just do that. You know, a lot of people after that game brought up the fact that I think City got beat, was it 4-0 or 5? I think they got battered by Leicester 6 or 7. He scored 5 or 6 at the Etihad in his first season. He just got it wrong and didn't judge the Premier League, and people slated him for that, rightly so. But I think if you're going to get a team right, get a bit of cohesion going, you have to stick with things for now. Now, look, I think Casemiro will come in and start playing some more games. I think he has to. You know, you don't spend 60 million on a player to sit on the bench. I think he will come in. But I think that he needed to earn his way into the team, like we mentioned tonight. And I just don't think he'd done that. And I think that now is the time to make that change, bring him in, put him in the strongest lineup possible around him as well. I think that's the other thing, is he's played, you know, the Europa League game with Fred in number 10, I think, when he played the other week. Let's have a normal team around Casemiro and see what he does from the start. And I think that you'll see that coming up.
Yeah, I think we will probably tomorrow night, I'd have thought.
Yeah.
Let's move on to this.
Go and check out Last Man Standing. Go and click the link in the description.
Always.
Check that out. Put a comment on there, say how Boovy was wrong or something like that.
Yeah, he probably was. I don't even know if he was on it. But if he was on it, he was wrong, wasn't he?
So
Last week he was doing the podcast out of a children's play park, so presumably he'll be on a narrow boat or, near the CBB studio this week, and we can sort of criticise him for that. Yeah, but go and check out Last Man Standing. Link is in the description, as always. Let's move on then to this Skriniar potential swap deal. Now that obviously isn't Skriniar,
no.
and that is. We'll be coming on to that in just a minute. Man United have locked into the idea of signing him in the upcoming transfer windows. Now, aware that Skriniar's first choice option would be to sign for PSG on a free transfer next summer, the Red Devils are considering a desperate January attempt at a swap deal. I love this, desperate. The report claims that they could offer either Anthony Martial or Donny van der Beek, although Inter are likely to reject the addition of the two players. That, to me, looks like
bollocks.
Shy, doesn't it? Let's just break this down, actually. Right.
Start with.
We know that Skriniar doesn't even want to join United.
Okay,
first red flag. The second red flag is he wants to sign on a free transfer next summer. Fine. The third red flag is we're considering a desperate January attempt. I love desperate in quotes. Like United have gone to them and went, we're planning a desperate attempt. What do you mean? Why are you calling it desperate? I mean, really calm, casual attempt.
But are we desperate? Look, Maguire has had a bad season.
We are
far.
Desperate.
Lindelof's just come back from injury.
Yeah.
Are we desperate for centre half?
The other
are
bit,
we screaming
my
for
next
centre half?
favourite bit is how it says the report claims. So even Inter Live aren't taking ownership of this tribe. And then it says that we could offer either Martial, who isn't leaving, or Donny van der Beek. Although Inter are likely to reject the addition of the two players. First of all, we haven't added. Sorry, we haven't added two players. We've added one player, but it could be either of the two. So that doesn't make sense. They don't even want them. None of this is true. This is unbelievable. This is up there with one of the biggest sort of pages of guff we've ever experienced on this show.
I do think there is a list at Manchester United somewhere.
He's probably on it.
Centre backs. Skriniar's probably on there somewhere. Coming up to a free transfer. He might be good.
Yeah, exactly.
He's definitely on there.
I'm probably on it somewhere.
But he's going to PSG. PSG signed so many free transfers.
Yeah, it's all that.
That is definite. Or the other one is Spurs. That would fit.
Maybe.
He signed a few with the Conte effect and all that kind of stuff. Maybe. But he's going to PSG, isn't he?
Skriniar's first choice option would be to sign for PSG.
He's not coming to Manchester United.
He's not coming to Manchester United. And for that reason, let's move on. Let's talk about United tracking Napoli defender. Get him in. There we go. Reports suggest that United are set to enter the race to sign Napoli defender Kim Min-jae. Thoughts?
Napoli are doing well. Can't say I've watched too much of them, but they were very, very good against Liverpool.
Yeah.
They won 6-1 against Ajax last night.
Yeah.
6-1's pretty good in the Champions League. And they're on the top of the league.
Yeah, they're doing very well in Italy. Do we have another graphic, or is it just this one on him? Just that one. Okay. What's the source on this?
Who is
it the Daily Mail?
Daily Mail.
Right.
Okay.
Because I've got some notes. I've got some notes on this iPad here, which you are going to love.
I do love.
And everyone at home is going to love this story. Someone said, "When is Jay?" Probably.
Jay will be back
about
soon.
1:45. This is one of the most detailed and unnervingly detailed articles I've ever seen.
Give it to Joe.
This is an article that, before I read some of these details, in the Daily Mail, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this has been written by him. Because some of these things are the sort of thing, like in a film, they'd be like, say something to prove it's the real you. And he did. Right. Reports suggest that United are set to enter the race for Kim Min-jae. Tottenham wanted the centre-back this summer when he settled on Napoli, but the South Korean could once again be on the move. 25 years old, has earned rave reviews for his performances, won the Player of the Month for the Serie A in September, has a 43.4 million release clause which activates in the summer, and apparently United are interested in his signature. Now, here's some of the information in this article. The South Korean centre-back signed from Fenerbahce for just 60 million. That's pretty run-of-the-mill. He's integral to Napoli, who sit at the top of the Serie A table. Sure. Napoli beat Ajax 6-1 away in the Champions League. Sure. Here's where it starts to go slightly weird.
Go on.
Standing at 190 centimetres and about 88 kilograms, moving Kim is like trying to shift Mount Vesuvius. Despite his giant physique and aggressive nature, Kim appears to stick to the rules. This is written by him.
Is that his dating profile?
This is his Tinder profile. In his career, he's collected fewer than 25 yellow cards in 175 games and demonstrates his great ability to control his movements and his aggression. And here's my favourite bit. This is definitely a dating profile written by Kim Min-jae himself. On his muscular chest, there is the inscription Carpe Diem, and it is much appreciated by Napoli fans. His passion for tattoos does not stop at the writing on his chest, because on his back there's another one with the symbol of the Christian religion. He's learning about the delicacies of the city and has discovered Neapolitan pizza.
What's happened?
This is real! This is in the Daily Mail! He's discovered Neapolitan pizza. He visits the city, but above all remains focused on the team and avoiding going out late at night. Avoids going out late at night? What is he, a cat burglar? What do you mean?
Happened?
Avoids going out late at night because he's scared of baddies.
The only other thing that might have happened there is that writer's been told, right, you need to write 1,000 words tomorrow on that Napoli game. And he's got through, he's gone, right, well, what can I write about? There were 7 goals, forget them.
Yeah.
Let's put all of them into this lad's
Can you send me?
profile.
There's another bit of this as well about his education. Can you send me that as well, please? Immediately.
Seriously, there's a transfer story that said he likes pizza. He's got muscular chest.
That says yes, he likes pizza.
What's going on?
But he's not just going out all night. I love that. He's like, this is literally his dating profile. Loves pizza, loves strolling around town, but isn't too much of a party animal. I'm focused on my football.
Do you remember early Stretford Paddock days when we nearly did Tinder transfers as a video?
I do remember that. This is the closest we're ever going to get. Adorning my muscular chest, there's the words Carpe Diem. If you can just get that sent over as quick as possible.
Mental.
There's also another bit in this article.
His degree in there.
This is the next bit, right? It says, in 2015, he enrolled at Yonsei University, one of the 3 most prestigious South Korean universities, but in the second year of a course in business administration, he dropped out to make the leap into professional football. His passion for studying leads him to be very meticulous, and this characteristic will certainly improve his talent over time. Who wrote this?
It has to be a word count.
Yeah, this is the sort of word count that you can only improve by knowing him. He wrote it about himself. This was a cover letter. This isn't an article. This is a fucking cover letter. CV and cover letter. Literally. Dear. Unbelievable. He's collected fewer than 25 yellow cards in 175 games. Is that a particularly good ratio?
I don't know.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
Anyway, he actually looks like a good player. And obviously, he's 88 kilograms. Trying to move him is like trying to shift Mount Vesuvius. So
can we sign him just so that we can keep his article and bring it up all the time?
I absolutely love that. If anyone wants to check that article out, head to the Daily Mail.
I know we wouldn't usually do that.
I would never usually promote the Daily Mail, but fuck me, if that is not a mental video, what is? Like the video if you enjoyed that absolute madness from the Daily Mail. By far, the most in-depth, personal transfer write-up I've ever seen in my life. Santanocho's, that was a uni essay. It was. I actually think, here's what I genuinely think has happened with that article. I think, I don't know who's written it, so I'm not trying to knock anyone in particular here. Whichever poor bastard was given that article has gone, you got to write something about Kim Min-jae, and he's gone, I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. He only moved from Fenerbahce this year. I don't watch the Turkish league.
No, I've not watched Napoli at all.
And then they've Googled, I reckon, if you Google Kim Min-jae now, if someone does it, I reckon very quickly you will find a essay that a uni student has recently published about him.
Or it's his Wikipedia page.
That they have nicked almost all of this information from directly.
Wow.
It's either his Wikipedia page or someone in a uni somewhere, and that's his favourite player, has written a full article about him, and they've nicked every single bit of information.
Amazing.
Unbelievable. Who says about how prestigious in South Korea the university a footballer went to is? Unreal.
It's madness, that. But it could be a good signing.
Yeah, I think
like I said, 45 million quid. That's not bad.
No.
We never sign people with release clauses. We never do we? We never get... When was the last person we got of a release clause? We didn't get Haaland.
No.
Suarez didn't try for. Who else had a release clause? There's not been many, has there?
Who have we got on a release clause? We must have got someone.
Donny van der Beek?
I don't think it was
We didn't get Fellaini because it wasn't a release clause,
no,
but
we
there was
waited
like the fee.
Yeah.
We don't do it. We wait until he's worth 80 million the summer after. That's what we do. I wouldn't. Look,
if anyone
I
can
wouldn't mind them
saying
that because I think that we'll talk about Maguire, but
yeah.
I think that Maguire might get moved on for the good of everybody in this, whether you rate him or not. I think that might be a thing where you just kind of go, he's not your top centre half anymore. These Varane and Martinez are the next one involved. We want someone different.
We want someone different. We want someone who's been around a little bit. We want someone who's got the words Carpe Diem inscribed on his muscular chest. A man that eats pizza, but
not too late at night.
Late at night.
That's the one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You will not see this man on the streets of Napoli post 9:30 p.m. And that is a guarantee.
Fact.
Jesus Christ, what an absolute writer that is. I love that.
We need to move on from him.
Yeah, we do.
I know we want to talk about
I like
pizza,
him. We'll keep an eye on him. Obviously, if this comes back up in January, we will revisit any Kim Min-jae information that comes up. But to be honest, what can we possibly learn about him that we don't already know?
No, we don't.
I know more about him than I know about certainly myself.
Callum. Maybe
Callum as well. Let's move on to Sesko. United have a second chance with Sesko. According to reports, United have a second chance to sign Benjamin Sesko. Thoughts?
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how all this Red Bull Salzburg to Leipzig thing works. Seems a bit dodgy to me where, all the clubs that are interested, I think Bayern, Chelsea and United are interested in now, but he's already signed for Leipzig for like 25 million quid, even though everyone else were bidding like 50 million.
It's dodgy, isn't it? It's definitely dodgy.
But
I wonder why, though. I wonder why Salzburg would allow themselves to lose out on money on him.
But they're not, are they? I think it's an ecosystem of Red Bull stuff.
Oh, it's
they
money laundering
lose.
Again.
Maybe it is.
That's it.
I think there's a chance that
Identified.
I think someone goes mad and goes, yeah, we'll sign
70.
it. Because everyone's, at the minute, Liverpool did it with Nunez.
Yeah.
They're chasing that Haaland player. They are going, we didn't get him because he's mad and scoring loads of goals. We need to get the next one. And I don't think, Nunez might be a good player for Liverpool. He isn't that one. I think we've dodged a bullet massively with that one. Sesko could be that player. He seems the same kind of ilk of a tall, doesn't look massive, but he looks kind of gangly, but scores loads of goals.
He's got a size to him, though,
and he scores all sorts of kind of goals.
Yeah. Did you see that one he scored the other day? That sort of Van Basten-esque over his shoulder.
So I think that everyone's going to try and chase that next one.
Yeah.
And I think that he could be the one that people gamble on. Look, 19, if you get him for, I think it's 24 million Leipzig have agreed to.
Yeah.
If you give them 55, so they make 35 without even
that's
kicking the ball.
The meat of the story is that they kind of want to flip him, which is a sort of an American housing term. But apparently they are weighing up the idea of flipping Sesko for 3 times the price they paid for him. So looking for around
75
45 million. 75 million. 6'5" he is as well. So quite the boy.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think it's one of them, that 50 million mark is the new 30 million. I think if you get him for that, yeah. But if you go into that 75, you're in that Nunez territory where you can get real. Same thing we've done with Sancho and Antony's, where everyone's going, that's a ridiculous fee, and they're not. If they don't do it straight away, you're going to be judged. If you get him 50, I think you've got that wiggle room of going, okay, that's how much a 19-year-old striker that scores
everyone
goals.
costs 50 million.
Yeah,
also, really, everyone costs 70 million now, don't they?
Yeah.
Like, Nunez, no reason he should have been 100 million euros, and he was. Like, there's so many players like that.
It's one of them. Strikers are going to be judged on goals straight away. It's a tough one for you to come in at 19 and be United's leading striker. And we've talked about this season where, we've got Martial and Rashford up there at the minute, and we've Cristiano Ronaldo in the periphery. There's no one to kind of rely on and go, well, he'll just play and score. It's fine.
No. We're still in a kind of transition, aren't we?
Yeah, and I think that other clubs might be able to get away with that, and especially where we're not playing too well as well. Whereas if he goes to Bayern Munich, they're going to score goals and he'll just kind of slot in and maybe he plays well.
There, won't he? Are they? Who's playing up front for them at the minute?
I'm not sure because they've obviously got rid of Lewandowski this summer. Who are they starting?
They got Mane, but he's not really number 9.
Maybe he has. And that's the other thing is that they've got players like Mane who's going to score you goals. So if he doesn't score one week, there's not. Well, that Sesko waste of money. He's not scored this week. Because again, that's how Grealish kind of got away with it last season, where he didn't play particularly well, but the rest of the 5 or 6 players up there did. So you get away with it. If he came into Manchester United, if he didn't score 30 goals, it'd be the worst signing of all time.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Liverpool right now. Salah has stopped scoring goals. Diaz isn't scoring the goals that Mane was doing. So Núñez has come in and they go in, he's not good enough. Whereas if he'd have come in last season with them around, that wouldn't be a question. You'd be going, well, they're scoring every week. It doesn't matter. He'll get there. It don't matter.
Just as a quick point, playing up front for Bayern Munich at the moment is no one.
No one.
They've kind of got Muller playing there a little bit, Gnabry, Musiala, who's not a striker, sort of playing in that position. They didn't replace Lewandowski, basically. Mane's out on the left-hand side, so you could see that one happening, couldn't you? But hopefully United can... I mean, hopefully Martial can come back in and play 40 games and score 20 goals. But yeah, once we get rid of Ronaldo, we need a backup. There is no backup at the moment, and having someone like him around, or someone, even if it's not him, would be good.
You look at even Tony, that's the kind of other options kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, someone in the Premier League, he's got such a higher ceiling than any of those strikers. You know, I think even Tony could come in and be a good striker for Manchester United. He could be someone that would score us 20 goals a season. But this lad could be that next level, which again, I think people are going to start chasing next summer.
Definitely. Right, that's going to be all from us tonight. Manchester United look to be targeting a Harry Maguire replacement. Will it be Skriniar? Almost certainly not. Or will it be the pizza-loving, tattoo-covered Mount Vesuvius that is...
Goes to bed early, though. That's his mess, the big thing.
Sorry, yeah. Will it be him? Who knows? Fucking hell, it's mad, this, isn't it? Absolutely mad. I mean, Harry Maguire's still at Man United, but we're going to replace him anyway.
Absolutely.
And it may well be with Kim Min-jae, but we'll find out soon. Thank you very much for joining us. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. We'll be here for the watch along tomorrow. Fingers crossed, we will have Jay Motti, the ill Jay Motti, on the watch along tomorrow.
He's got loads of lem sips.
Even if you have to have him in like a hospital bed with all like plaster casts all over his body, like something from Laurel and Hardy. Yeah, full cast.
Hazmat suit.
So or even in a hazmat suit, so he can't give us
microphone up there. There you go.
Yeah, microphone at where?
Up through the front.
Oh, up the suit.
Yeah. Not anywhere else.
Just listen to what's going on in his guts. Right, that's going to be all from us. Thank you very much for joining us. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in a bit.